Setting up Logic to be operating in 5.1. So firstly, with your project, each audio output of the channel needs to be in Surround. So you'll notice that when Surround is selected, the pan tool changes to a Surround format. So that all of the output for these channels will now be directed out of the master, which is in Surround. The next step is to load the Dynamic 5.1 plugin and select the second preset, which is 5.1 Studio. Now, I had mentioned in class that you can download from Moodle the Bayer Studio Monitoring plugin for Mac and PC. So you can legally download it and install it on your own machine. So going back to this again, to quickly summarize, you set up the output for each channel to be in Surround, including the reverb channels or MIDI channels. You cannot have any of your channels in stereo. They all need to be in Surround. The next step is to understand the channel output assignment of whatever software you might be using. So within Logic, there is an area, Preferences, Audio, Input, Output Assignment. So if we had physical speakers connected to our computer via an audio interface, we would need to nominate the output channels that are connected to the speakers from our computer's audio interface. So what happens here is the signals within Logic internally are blended, mixed, and they go out of the master output. If it was in stereo mode, then this would be the physical output of our audio interface. Mine only has 4 outputs. And if we were in Surround mode, the master output fader, then we would assign the channels here. When we look at our Dynamic plugin, this is a plugin which models a physical room with 5 channel speakers in Surround mode and a subwoofer, adhering to the ITU channel assignment: left, right, center, LFE, surround left, surround right. That forms 6 channels. When I go to the preferences within Logic, you have 2 presets: default, which is the WG4 format, and this format in terms of channel assignment was established with the DVD industry. Left, center is channel 5, output 2 is right. Compare that to ITU. Left and right are the same, but the center channel is channel 3. WG4 center channel is 5. If we look over here, we've got the ITU format: left, right, center, LFE, surround left, surround right. So many years ago I had mentioned a Tony Bennett DVD was released, and his voice was coming out of the surround left. So they must have pressed potentially hundreds of thousands of discs, but somewhere between the studio and the pressing of those DVDs, the channel assignments were all mixed up. If we look at WG4, the center channel, which Tony Bennett's voice would have predominantly been projected from, or intended to be projected from, in the WG4 format, is channel 5. But I suspect what happened is when they made the DVD, they got these 2 formats mixed up, so that channel 5, here is channel 5, which is the surround left. So the issue here in using this plugin, which is the ITU format, adhering to channel 1, channel 2, channel 3 surround, channel 3 is center, channel 4 LFE, surround left, 5 surround right, channel 6. So it's adhering to the ITU format, this one here. 1, 2, 3. You see the correlation, 4, 5, 6. But the issue is logic internally when you use the Surround Panner. Its default mode is the WG4 format. So this is what we need to do. Within the Bayer Dynamic plugin, we need to disconnect, hold in the middle of this virtual cable and click and release. Click release. We need to map channel 3 to surround left, channel 4 to surround right, 5 to center, 6 to LFE. Again, because Logic's Surround Panner is adhering to the WG4 format, this one. And when we operate in Logic, if we were to pan position within Logic, the settings here, which is the physical output of the audio interface, will have no change within Logic's internal surround panning. So this is why we need to make the modification here on the Bayer Dynamic plug, because it is adhering to its inputs. It's adhering the ITU format. So that's why we need to remap. Just to quickly summarize, the input-output settings here, these are very, very, very important to mark down on your sheet that you would give to a DVD production house or a film production house as to which format you were using when monitoring. So how your studio was set up, your left speaker, your right speaker, the center channel, which was the center channel, so that when you render your final mix in 5.1, the production house will know which format you have used, so that you don't get the channels mixed up like I had mentioned with the Tony Bennett DVD. So this is still very, very important, even though we are using this Bayer Dynamic plug and we remapped the inputs. But if you were not using this plugin and using actual physical speakers, this becomes very important how you set up the output from your audio interface, and also to notify the production house or the duplication house making DVDs or Blu-ray which surround format you actually used, so that when you render out your 6 channels, they will then have that information and map them appropriately within their software.